showing us how to give those old beach chairs a spectacular new look just in time for the 4th of July is Orly. Help us out.
Yes, I am so incredibly excited about this project because this is for anyone out there who's been wanting to learn how to sew or has been trying with little bits. This is the project to do because it is so simple to do. Every line you're going to do is simple straight lines. However, the impact when all is said and done is so major. If you told your friends that this is your very first sewing project and this is what it can, I mean, you're a hero. You're the neighborhood hero.
They'd be super impressed. And if you have these chairs, literally, you could go get some fabric and make these chairs by the time your guests come over this afternoon.
You absolutely do. And Debbie, the thing I like about this so much is that you can do this whether your chairs are old and they need a refresher, or just if you want something fun and thematic for the holiday or for the summer, and then swap them out and put them away with the rest of your holiday decorations.
Exactly.
So this can be one or the other. It can just be for fun, or it can be a little refresher.
Well, you got started a little earlier today, so why don't you walk us through what you did?
Yes, let's take a look. So this is what the chair looked like. So what I noticed first was that it was about 2 inches shorter than I wanted. So since I'm making it custom, I may as well make it my own way. You're going to pull out the dowel that holds it all into place, and then the sling will come right out. So now there's our structure. I'm going to use the original sling as a pattern for my new one. And like I said, I'm going to measure the very top, which is actually where the dowel is going to go through. And so I need to add that amount in for myself so I can actually create a new casing.
Okay.
Now you saw, I thought it was about 2 inches too short, so I'm adding in 2 inches just because I want my new ones to be a little wider than my original. I'm going to go all the way down, marking with a pin so that I've got an even place to cut. And now I'm just going to cut, connecting all of my pins together. That makes it now 3 inches longer on the top and the bottom and 2 inches wider on the side. Now you always want to do your fabric face to face, which means pattern to pattern. I'm going to pin my side. This is one single seam, which makes it so easy. And so with the seam allowance you gave yourself, I gave myself a 1/4 inch. So I'm going down and a 1/2 inch, excuse me. Now you flip it inside out, and this is our basic structure. So what you want to do is on either end, you just want to do a straight stitch all the way across. This is going to prevent it from slipping and sliding when we create our casing. So this is just a functional stitch. This isn't decorative. You're not going to see this at all. You do the top and the bottom, and now you're going to fold that little seam over and fold it, creating your new casing. Now when you fold it over, the good thing about it is that it hid that stitch that we just created with the rough edge. There's my 1.5 inch casing, which is, I'm mirroring what my old cushion, my old sling was. And now I sew it. This is what's creating my little loop. I'm going to take the dowel just to make sure that I've made it the right fit before I do my second one. And it was a slightly tighter fit than I wanted, so I made it a little looser on the other one.
Nice.
But that's it. That's exactly how you do it. So when you see the entire difficult sewing of this is one single seam down the back, which we centered in the back to be hidden, and then you create a fold over with a straight stitch on either end. That's how this whole thing comes together.
But I have to ask you, is there a no-sew version for those folks who don't know how to use a sewing machine?
Well, what I'll tell you,
or maybe not standing right here.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what I'll tell you is the answer is yes and no.
Okay.
It has to be sewn. There's no two ways about it. This needs to be strong enough to hold people sitting in it.
Yes.
It's a sling chair, which means there's no support on the bottom, so it's all being held on those two sides, so it has to be sewn. However, if you don't know how to sew, what you can do is do everything that I did except for the sewing. Take your old sling, measure it out, cut it out, and bring that piece that's already been cut to size to your dry cleaner.
Sure.
And say, I want you to sew a seam. You tell them what you want them to do, and they can do it for you in a heartbeat.
What would you say, the fold over? What would you explain? How would you explain that?
You would measure your sling chair.
Okay.
Because your sling chair is made based off of all the parts.
Got it.
So you want to mimic that. So cut out everything according to that, write it all down, go into your dry cleaner.
Easy.
I mean, and if you felt, would it make any sense, this could maybe go against what you're trying to do if you take a dry cleaner, could you just put maybe like some temporary double stick tape down or some pins?
Oh, just in place?
Say, and say do it like this?
You absolutely can. You can pin it for them and just say, I'm just nervous to do the sewing, but this is exactly, I just need these to be stitched.
Okay. Now what about the fabric? Is there specific fabric we should be using?
Yes. Fabric is super important for two reasons. One is, this is going outside, so you want this to be weatherproof. You want this to be something that can repel the sun and all of that.
So like the umbrella type of stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
The other thing is no stretch. Imagine if this sling was made of stretch and you sat in it, you'd be like, like you would sink to the floor. So
I'm gonna make mine out of Lycra.
Yes, exactly.
You have 4 chairs. You make one of them out of stretch.
Yes, and that's where like the weird uncle has to sit or something.
Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
That would be great. Can you show us how to put it together?
I will. It's super simple. And Mark, I would love your help.
You got it.
So you're gonna take the top part here, and we're gonna slide it through this little opening that we have on top, because again, we're just doing it exactly. If you start with a corner,
That would be
grab
better.
the corner,
Got
and
it.
then you can pull
Got
the
it.
whole thing.
Yep.
And now you're just gonna set that dowel in. And what happens, what's so cool about these chairs, the reason they're so simple, is that when the dowel goes in, it prevents the fabric from sliding out. So if this is here, you can see just from a functionality standpoint, this can't go through there. So if this is through your fabric, this holds the fabric in place, creating,
nice.
yeah, creating the sling.
Okay.
So
Keep
we're gonna
talking,
slide
Orly.
this through.
So you can slide it through.
Oh yeah, here, I'll show you right here. So when you're doing it, you just wanna open, take the dowel, and push it through. And again, if you realize
There you
that
go.
you have a dowel that's, too large, too small,
got
whatever it is, you can always adjust this because it was one single stitch.
Now, do the chairs have to be fairly new? Is it the wood base of the chair?
Well, this is the thing. If the chair is old, the great thing is that you're taking the dowel out, you're taking the sling out, and you are easily able to then at this point sand it down, give it a nice clean finish. You could even paint it a contrasting
That's a great
color if you
idea.
want. Yeah, absolutely.
That's nice. Now, what if you wanted to add
Here we go.
some special sort of embellishments? What if you wanted to put Mark Wahlberg's barbecue on it?
So you know what I would love?
MW.
I'm gonna
These are
leave
read
that
my
just
mind.
like that so I can show you.
Because I
One
know
of
he
the things-
needs chairs for this afternoon.
Exactly. One of the things that I did here was I created the red and white striped pillows because I wanted to be able to elicit the flag.
Right.
So a super simple way to do that is take your fabric, which you can see is inside out right now. You're gonna sew this way, all the way up, and leave an opening just this big. Now when I flip it inside out, this is gonna be the opening that I'll be able to put my pillow
Stuffing
stuffing
in.
in.
Sure.
It lets me flip it inside out, and this is where you can customize it. So on this fabric here, before you stuff it, you could write something on it, you could decorate it in any kind of way you want, but the pillows are
Stencils.
stencils, fabric transfers, anything that you
iron
want.
on,
Just
sure.
do it before you stuff it, because that's the time you want to do it.
Orly, we're showing 4th of July here, but it dawns on me this is not expensive, and you could make them for Halloween,
Exactly.
Thanksgiving,
Yeah, you
whatever, and
could.
trade
True.
them out.
And if you just think about if you
Wow, what a
want to
great
do a
idea.
little bit of a backyard renovation and just give it a freshen up, just fresh slings, painting it and giving a fresh sling, they're going to look like brand new chairs for nothing.
Great.
Orly,
Yeah.
you crushed it
They're
again.
Every
so
time.
fun. They're